The forest was alive in a way that made Elias feel both awe and unease. Towering trees stretched far above him, their branches twisted and entwined like the arms of some ancient creature. The leaves shimmered faintly in shades of blue and green, glowing softly in the dim light that filtered through the canopy. He had seen strange planets before, but this one had a rhythm, a heartbeat, that he could feel even under the weight of his pack. Elias moved cautiously, stepping over roots that seemed to shift beneath his feet. The mission had started as a simple exploration. A new planet, new species to document, samples to collect, nothing dangerous, or so he had thought. He adjusted the straps of his pack, checking the sensors for signs of life. There was nothing unusual at first. Then he heard it, a soft, almost human-like cry carried through the thick air. He froze. The sound was faint but urgent. He scanned the forest, every sense on alert. His mind raced with possibilities. Was it an animal, a lost explorer, or something else entirely? His curiosity got the better of caution, and he moved toward the sound, careful to keep his footsteps quiet on the thick moss covering the ground. As he walked, the cries grew louder, more desperate. Then he saw her. She was caught in the thick vines that hung like nets from the trees, struggling to free herself. Her skin shimmered with a soft purple glow, and her eyes were large and almond-shaped, filled with fear. She looked fragile, but there was a strength in her gaze that made Elias pause. "Hey," he called, stepping closer. "Hold still, I'll help you." Her voice carried a melody that seemed almost unreal in the stillness of the forest. "I'm not going to hurt you," Elias replied calmly. "I just want to help." He studied the vines. They were thick, covered in small thorns, and seemed almost alive. "All right," he said softly. "I need you to stay calm. I'm going to get you out." Elias caught her gently. "Whoa, easy," he said, adjusting her weight. He looked around for a safe place to set her down, but the forest was uneven with jagged roots and loose moss. "I think I'm going to have to carry you," he said. Her eyes widened again. "Carry me. It's the only way to get you out of here safely." As he started walking, he could hear her breathing, steady but weak. "You're strong," she said after a while, "for a human." "I need to find shelter before night falls. The temperature drops fast here, and I don't want anything to happen to you." After a moment, she whispered, "I'm a princess." "Maybe both." After some time, they reached a clearing with a small stream. The water glowed faintly, reflecting the stars that were beginning to appear in the alien sky. Elias carefully set her down, making sure she was comfortable. "Drink this," he said, handing her a small container of water. She took it with a delicate hand, sipping slowly. "You've done much for me already," she said quietly. "Most humans would have left me. Sometimes we just need a reason to show it. I don't know your name, human." "Not just carry you," he said. "We'll get through this together." He kept watch until sleep claimed him, his mind filled with thoughts of alien worlds, glowing forests, and a princess who trusted him enough to let him carry her through the unknown. Somewhere deep in the forest, hidden among the twisted trees, the air hummed with life, as if acknowledging that humanity had arrived. Elias didn't know what lay ahead, but he knew one thing clearly. He would not let anything happen to her, not while he had the strength to carry her. Elias woke before dawn, the pale light filtering through the canopy of alien trees. The air was cool and damp, filled with the faint hum of distant creatures that stirred in the shadows. Lyra was still asleep, her breathing slow and steady, and Elias took a moment to study her. Even in rest, she carried herself with grace, and there was a quiet strength about her that made him realize just how important it was to keep her safe. He carefully lifted her onto his back again, making sure she didn't wake. The forest was more treacherous in the early morning light. Mist curled around the roots and vines, making the ground slippery and deceptive. Elias moved cautiously, feeling for solid footing with every step. Despite the challenge, he felt a surge of determination. This was no ordinary rescue. He was carrying the hope of a world he had only just begun to understand. After a while, Lyra stirred. "The air, it smells different here," she said softly, opening her eyes. Her gaze flicked around the forest as though she were memorizing every detail. "This forest, it is sacred to my people. Few are allowed here. They say the forest chooses who may pass safely." She looked at him, a faint smile on her lips. "Perhaps it chose you." Elias wondered if Lyra's people had truly left some magic in the trees, or if it was just his imagination, a trick of the light. Either way, the thought comforted him. They moved steadily, making slow progress through the dense foliage. Elias carried her without complaint, shifting her weight as needed, his muscles straining but steady. He had been trained for harsh conditions, but the forest tested him in ways he had never imagined. The uneven ground, the tangled vines, the sudden drops, all of it required focus, patience, and adaptability. Humanity's ability to improvise, to find solutions in moments of uncertainty, became his greatest asset. After hours of careful travel, they reached a small stream. The water was clear, and the gentle sound of it moving over rocks offered a brief moment of calm. Elias set Lyra down, crouching beside her. She looked at the water, her expression thoughtful. "This stream leads to the eastern ridge," she said. "There is a place there where travelers may rest safely. Few know of it, and it is well hidden. I can guide you, but we must move carefully." "Thrones, you mean you're a leader." Yet despite the danger, she moved with determination, guided by a sense of duty that humans could respect. "You're brave," he said quietly. "Not many could do what you are trying to do." "I'll do my best to help, whatever it takes." Humanity had a way of noticing both danger and wonder, and he felt that awareness now more than ever. After several more hours, they arrived at the eastern ridge. A hidden alcove revealed itself behind a curtain of vines, and Lyra led Elias inside. The alcove opened to a small plateau with smooth stone surfaces and a natural spring. It was sheltered and warm, with enough space for both of them to rest. "You may set me down now," she said, her voice weak but steady. Elias carefully lowered her to the stone. She sighed in relief, stretching her limbs slightly. "This place, it is a gift. Few know of it, and even fewer can reach it without harm. A good place to rest." "Who are these factions?" "And humans, they think differently. You do not see only power or fear. You see solutions, possibilities. That is why I trust you, even though we have only just met." "There is a ritual," she explained. "A ceremony that binds leaders to their people, showing their wisdom and compassion. If I can reach it and prove myself, I may secure my place. But it is dangerous to go alone." Elias gathered food from the forest, edible fruits that glowed faintly and roots that provided energy. Lyra rested, regaining strength, while explaining the map of her world. She showed him places of significance, the hidden paths that humans could not easily notice, and the dangers that lay ahead. Elias realized how much humans relied on creativity and adaptability. He applied these skills to their journey, finding clever ways to clear paths, create makeshift tools, and ensure Lyra's comfort. It was not strength alone that mattered. It was thinking, caring, and seeing possibilities where others saw obstacles. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and violet, they prepared to rest. Lyra leaned against him, and he adjusted a small covering to keep her warm. The night was calm, the forest alive with the soft sounds of creatures stirring. Elias reflected on how far he had come from a simple mission to an extraordinary responsibility. "Do you ever get scared?" Lyra asked quietly, her voice breaking the silence. "Of course," Elias admitted. "Every day, but fear doesn't stop me. It tells me to pay attention, to be careful, to keep going." The trust between them was solidifying, built on courage, compassion, and the simple human desire to do what is right. As the night deepened, Elias kept watch. Stars appeared above, unfamiliar constellations twinkling in the alien sky. He thought of Earth, of the people waiting for him, and of the incredible journey ahead. Humanity had carried him far already, and he knew it would carry him further still. Lyra stirred beside him, her breathing steady. "Tomorrow," she whispered, "we reach the path to the ceremony. If we succeed, my people may finally see the change they need." Together. Elias had woken early, as always, checking the perimeter and making sure Lyra was safe. She stirred beside him, her movements careful but purposeful. Today was important. Today, they would begin the final part of their journey to the ceremony that would prove her right to lead her people. "Are you ready?" Elias asked, his voice low, not wanting to disturb the delicate balance of the forest around them. Lyra nodded. "I am, but you must know the path ahead is not easy. Even those who trust me may doubt our success. The terrain is treacherous, and the guardians of the sacred path are cautious of strangers. I'll watch your back, and we'll get through it together." Glowing moss clung to the stones, and the air was filled with a soft hum, almost like a song. Elias could feel the energy of the forest, and though it was unfamiliar, he trusted Lyra's guidance. After a few hours, they reached a steep incline. The rock face was slick with dew, and there were no obvious handholds. Elias studied it, considering their options. "We need to find a way to climb safely," he said, scanning the terrain. Lyra looked at him expectantly. "Do you think a human can do it?" Lyra followed his guidance, her small hands gripping the ropes he had secured. Slowly, deliberately, they made their way up the incline. Elias encouraged her at every step, showing patience and careful attention to detail, qualities that often made humans successful where others might fail. When they finally reached the top, they looked out over a valley bathed in morning light. Strange crystalline formations rose from the ground, reflecting the sun in dazzling patterns. The valley was quiet, almost serene, but Elias sensed the weight of history in the land. Lyra took a deep breath. "This is the path to the ceremony," she said. "We must follow the valley, then cross the river that marks the boundary of the sacred site. Only those who show respect for the land may pass unharmed." Lyra smiled. "It is beautiful. It holds memories of our ancestors. Every step here is sacred and every action matters." Together they moved efficiently and safely, relying on trust and communication. Midway through the valley, they encountered a wide chasm, far too deep to cross without aid. Elias studied it carefully. "We need a bridge," he said, "or something like it." Using strong branches, vines, and his knowledge of physics, Elias built a sturdy but flexible crossing. He tested it, ensuring it could hold their combined weight, then guided Lyra across carefully. Her eyes widened with admiration. "Humans are clever," she said. "I had hoped for help, but you exceed all expectation. And we learn quickly. For yourself, for me, for my people. But crossing it will test our patience, our focus, and our understanding. Only those who respect the path may pass." He guided her hand in hand, offering encouragement and steadying her when the current threatened to sweep them off balance. When they reached the opposite bank, Lyra paused, closing her eyes. "We have done well," she said. "Few humans could have succeeded. You are remarkable." "Humans are good at that." A circle of towering stones, etched with glowing symbols, surrounded a large crystal that pulsed with soft light. It was a place of history, of ceremony, of connection to the ancestors. Elias felt a thrill. Humans had faced incredible odds before, but stepping into this alien place was like entering the heartbeat of another world. Lyra led him forward, her steps careful and deliberate. "We must show respect, observe the traditions." She guided Elias to bow, to move with the rhythm of the place, and to speak the simple greetings she had taught him. He repeated each gesture with care, aware that his actions could determine whether they succeeded. As they approached the central crystal, a figure appeared. A tall being with translucent wings stepped forward, eyes filled with scrutiny. "Who comes to the sacred site?" the figure asked. Its voice was melodic, resonating in the air. Lyra stepped forward confidently. "I am Princess Lyra of the Ithari," she said. "I come to seek the ceremony of leadership, to show my people that unity and wisdom guide me. I am Elias Rowan, a human. I accompany the princess to ensure her journey is safe. I mean no disrespect." Humans often underestimated their ability to influence the world, but here, in a distant alien place, his careful thinking, empathy, and patience had earned respect. He felt the truth of something Lyra had said earlier: strength alone was not enough. Humanity's greatest power was creativity, adaptability, and heart. They moved together to the central crystal. Lyra placed her hands on its smooth surface, and Elias followed her example. A pulse of light spread outward, and Elias felt a connection to the place, to Lyra, and to the history of her people. He understood now that leadership was not about power or fear. It was about guidance, understanding, and the ability to carry responsibility for others. Lyra turned to him, a faint smile on her lips. "You have done well, human. Without you, I might not have reached this place. You have proven that humans are more than their strength. You are capable of wisdom and courage. That is what humans do. We help, we think, and we carry others when needed." As the ceremony concluded, Lyra turned to Elias. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. "But now my people will see what we can accomplish together, human and Ithari." Together they walked back from the sacred site, ready to face whatever challenges awaited, knowing that their bond and humanity's qualities would guide them through the unknown. The valley beyond the sacred site was wide and open, with rolling hills and gentle streams that reflected the morning sun. Elias and Lyra moved carefully, knowing that the journey was far from over. The ceremony had proven Lyra's worth to the Guardians, but now came the real challenge: reaching the Council of Clans. Here, the leaders of Lyra's people would decide if she could truly assume her role as a unifying leader. Lyra walked with a quiet determination, her posture straight despite fatigue. Elias carried a small pack of supplies he had prepared for the journey, ensuring that Lyra could conserve her energy. The council does not convene often, she said quietly. They will test everything about me, the wisdom I claim, the patience I show, and even the company I keep. Then we need to be ready for every test and show them that humans and Ithari can work together. That's our strength. You carry more than physical weight. You carry thought and care, and that is rare. Even on a peaceful planet, one could not underestimate the power of nature or the subtle traps left by history. As the day wore on, they approached a dense forest that lay between the valley and the council city. The trees were tall, with twisting branches forming natural arches. Strange vines hung from the canopy, some glowing faintly as if infused with energy. Elias led Lyra carefully, guiding her over roots and through low branches, making sure she did not stumble. "You have taught me much," Lyra said quietly. "Not only about survival, but about patience and observation. Your kind sees details that many others overlook. It helps us survive and thrive." The city was breathtaking, a blend of natural beauty and technological artistry. Elias paused for a moment, taking it all in. "This is incredible," he said softly. Lyra's eyes narrowed, slightly thoughtful. "It is a place of power and tradition. The council is strict. They respect knowledge, wisdom, and patience above all. You must remember, human, your actions here represent not just yourself, but your people." Lyra moved confidently, her posture regal, but Elias noticed her subtle tension. Every step here mattered. When they reached the council hall, they were greeted by a group of leaders seated in a circle on elevated platforms. Their forms were elegant, with translucent wings and intricate markings that glowed faintly. The atmosphere was calm, but filled with quiet authority. Elias felt the weight of the room immediately, a reminder that he and Lyra were far from ordinary. Lyra stepped forward, bowing slightly. "Honored leaders, I am Princess Lyra of the Ithari. I come to seek your guidance, to show that unity and wisdom can guide my people. Your journey was witnessed by the Guardians. You have shown courage and respect. Yet courage alone does not secure leadership. Why should we trust that your vision will benefit all clans? This human who has carried me through forests, rivers, and trials represents qualities that are rare but valuable. Creativity, patience, empathy, these are the traits that guide those who lead wisely." He knew humans had a way of proving their worth through action, patience, and thoughtfulness rather than words alone. He stood tall, showing quiet respect, letting his presence speak. Another leader spoke, voice soft but piercing. "Humans, they are outsiders. How can we be certain that their influence does not corrupt our traditions? I have learned from your people, observed your traditions, and followed them with care. I do not wish to change what is sacred. I only wish to support those who are worthy with respect and guidance. Humans can think differently, yes, but that difference can help, not harm." Elias felt the quiet power of observation, one of humanity's greatest tools. Without raising his voice, without threats, he conveyed understanding and wisdom. Lyra smiled faintly at him. "You see, human," she whispered, "your ways are as important as your strength. They will understand if you show patience and clarity." "Very well," the golden-marked leader said. "Your journey demonstrates your ability to adapt, to survive, and to guide. Yet one final test remains. There is an obstacle in our city, a challenge of coordination, patience, and ingenuity. Solve it, and you prove that your leadership and your human companion are worthy." The leader gestured to a central plaza. There, a network of floating platforms hovered above a shallow pool of water. The platforms shifted slowly, some rising and falling unpredictably. Small crystals glowed on each platform, reacting to movement and balance. "You must cross to the center," the leader said. "Both must succeed together. Only then will the council recognize your worth." They moved slowly, deliberately, talking through each step, correcting each other as needed. Their trust in one another grew with every movement. The platforms shifted unpredictably, but Elias' human ingenuity shone. He noticed patterns in their motion, calculated timing, and adapted quickly. Lyra followed, her faith in him unwavering. "You understand their rhythm," she said quietly. "You see what others cannot." Finally, they reached the central platform, the glow of the crystals surrounding them. They stood together, breathing heavily but triumphant. The golden-marked leader nodded, a faint smile on their face. "You have succeeded. Your actions demonstrate wisdom, courage, and cooperation. Princess Lyra, your leadership is confirmed. And human Elias, you have proven the value of your kind. Your insight, patience, and empathy have influenced events beyond expectation." "You have that, Lyra." "You carried me, human," she said softly. But more than that, you carried hope, wisdom, and courage. My people will remember this, and so will I. And he knew they would continue to matter in the days ahead. As they left the council hall, the leaders nodding respectfully, Lyra spoke with quiet confidence. The journey continues, but now my people see that leadership can be guided by compassion and wisdom. And humans can teach even the most ancient civilizations about courage and hope. And as they walked through the city, he realized that the adventure was far from over. But whatever challenges lay ahead, he and Lyra would face them together. The sun dipped toward the horizon, casting golden light over the crystalline towers. Elias adjusted his pack and glanced at Lyra, who moved with renewed purpose. Together, they would carry the future forward, humans and Ithari alike, in a world that now understood the quiet strength of cooperation and courage. The city of crystalline towers shimmered under the early morning light, each structure reflecting the sky like a living jewel. Elias walked beside Lyra, who moved with newfound confidence. Her posture was straight, her head held high, and yet there was a softness in her expression, a quiet gratitude for the journey that had brought them here. "We have proven much to the council," Lyra said softly, her eyes scanning the bustling streets. "But the true challenge lies ahead. I must meet my people, show them the path forward, and ensure they understand that leadership is more than power. It is care, wisdom, and responsibility. Not through force, but through patience, thought, and understanding. That is rare, and it is needed now more than ever." Lyra stepped forward, raising her hand for silence. "People of Ithari," she called, her voice steady and clear. "I stand before you not only as your princess, but as someone who wishes to guide you with wisdom, courage, and care. My journey has been long, and I have not walked it alone." She glanced at Elias, who stood beside her quietly. "This human Elias has accompanied me through forests, rivers, and challenges I could not face alone. He has taught me much about patience, thinking ahead, and trust. These are the qualities we must embrace together." Humans were rarely present in Ithari cities, and few had ever seen one interact so closely with their leaders. Elias kept his stance calm and respectful, letting his presence speak for itself. One elder stepped forward, her translucent wings folding gracefully. "Princess Lyra," she said, her voice soft but carrying authority, "humans are indeed unusual. They are not of our world, yet this one has guided you without imposing power, without demanding recognition. Why should we trust that your message of unity is true? Elias has shown me that guidance can come from understanding, not domination. That is the lesson we must learn." He spoke quietly, carefully, choosing words that reflected his respect for the culture and traditions of the Ithari. "I do not seek to lead your people," he said. "I only hope to support someone worthy to help them navigate challenges with care and thought. Humans are not perfect, but we observe, adapt, and help when needed. That is why I am here. Not to rule, but to assist those who can. We have faced forests that seemed endless, rivers that threatened our passage, and challenges that tested our coordination and patience. But each step has shown us that cooperation, understanding, and trust are more powerful than fear or division. I ask you to follow me, not because I demand it, but because together we can build a future that benefits all clans. I follow them, observe them, and help when asked. I do not seek to change what is sacred, only to support those who lead with care and understanding. Humans can contribute through thought, empathy, and collaboration, not by taking power." Others in the crowd began to murmur agreement, a ripple of understanding passing through the plaza. Elias realized that the same qualities that had allowed humans to survive in harsh conditions, to create, and to innovate were now recognized on another world. Lyra stepped closer to the edge of the plaza, raising her hands again. "Let this day mark a new beginning. We will face challenges together, humans and Ithari alike, and we will show that leadership guided by care, patience, and wisdom can build bridges where division once existed." Humans had carried themselves here not through force, but through qualities that transcended species: courage, intelligence, empathy, and trust. The elder who had spoken earlier approached Lyra once more. "You have proven your worth, princess, not only through your journey, but through the company you keep. Humans, it seems, have qualities we may yet learn from. This alliance may benefit our people more than we realized." Differences that had once seemed insurmountable were now bridged through dialogue and understanding. He realized that humans had a unique ability, not only to survive and adapt, but to inspire cooperation and empathy in others. As the day wore on, Lyra led the citizens in discussions about trade, education, and exploration. Ilias assisted quietly, offering guidance where needed, helping to mediate disputes and demonstrating practical solutions that balanced safety, efficiency, and respect. His presence was subtle but influential. Humans often succeeded not through domination, but through observation, adaptability, and steady guidance. By evening, the city had settled into a calm rhythm. Bridges glowed softly under the setting sun, and crystalline towers reflected the warm light. Lyra turned to Ilias, her expression one of deep gratitude. "You have carried me far, human, not just physically, but through uncertainty and doubt. My people will remember this, and so will I." We adapt, we observe, we think, and sometimes we help when it matters most. He had come to this alien planet as an explorer, expecting adventure and discovery, but he had found something far greater: the ability of humans to make a difference through intelligence, care, and courage. He had carried a princess through forests, rivers, and challenges, and in doing so had carried hope and inspiration for a civilization. As night fell, they walked together along a quiet bridge that spanned a glowing river. The air was cool and calm, filled with soft luminescence from the water below. Ilias looked at Lyra, who moved with a serene confidence that came from accomplishment and trust. "Do you think we will face more challenges?" he asked. Lyra laughed softly. "Of course, life is never without challenges. But now we face them as allies, with trust and understanding guiding us. We have proven that cooperation can overcome even the most daunting obstacles. That is how we survive and thrive." And Ilias knew that humans, with their capacity to adapt and think beyond fear, could contribute meaningfully to any world. Lyra turned to him with a playful glint in her eyes. "I suppose, human, you may yet carry me again should the need arise. Not just on my back, but through challenges, uncertainty, and whatever lies ahead. That is what humans do." The journey had tested courage, ingenuity, patience, and empathy. Humanity had proven its worth not through force or dominance, but through the quiet power of understanding and action. And in a distant world, among an alien people, those human qualities had created trust, unity, and hope. Ilias and Lyra walked back toward the city, ready to embrace the future together. Humans and Ithari, side by side, moving forward not through fear or conflict, but through cooperation, courage, and wisdom. And in that moment, Ilias understood what it truly meant to be human, to carry not only oneself but others, to think, to adapt, and to inspire hope wherever it is needed. The glow of the city surrounded them as they disappeared into the evening light, a new chapter beginning, full of promise, partnership, and the quiet triumph of humanity.